Pulse Energy and Lodestone Energy have formed a partnership from today that will enable energy customers to choose solar power as an alternative in the New Zealand electricity market. Well, Lodestone's Managing Director Gary Holden joins us to discuss. So Gary, why did you choose Pulse Energy?
Well, we did a bit of a beauty contest and talked to all of the retail partners that looked like they had the capability to take the kind of the sophistication, if you like, of solar and take it into the retail market as a solar product. And we took we looked at a number of proposals, and Pulse kind of surfaced to the top as the one that had kind of all of the elements necessary to deliver this product to the market.
So what does this partnership mean for both companies?
Well, it gives, first of all, our main goal was to find someone that could take as many as 5 or 6 or 7 solar farms into the market. So if you're going to develop a retail product and make it open to the whole market, then you have to have a pretty significant pipeline on the anticipation there would be a lot of interest. And so this is the first step of a long path of building solar farms and making them available to consumers. And we do expect in the beginning that there will be kind of a wait list. There will be more consumer demand than we'll have available from the solar farms. But over time, our initial plan to build 5 solar farms is essentially how it makes it worthwhile to create a retail product to take it to the mass consumer market.
You've got Kaitaia ready to go?
Yes, Kaitaia is underway now. We're in the planting phase. We're doing a shelter belt of native planting around the farm, and around December we'll bring in equipment and start the process of putting pilings in the ground and mounting panels over the summer months.
When do you hope to sign up customers?
Well, the plan would be to start marketing the product kind of in the second quarter of next year, with the anticipation of people being connected to it in September or thereabouts.
How are you funding this growth and development?
Well, we did a capital raise of 300 million. We did 2 equity raises. The first equity raise essentially bought us the land and paid for the engineering and development costs. And then the second equity raise is now going to contribute to the actual equipment. And we signed a deal with Westpac to provide debt to the projects. And essentially, so 300 million will get us as far as 5 projects. And after that, we'll see how we go. We'll probably raise some more capital later.
How do you gauge the demand from 5 farms?
Well, it's more of an art than a science. You need to kind of get a sense of how competitive this idea would be, and we're pricing it to be equal or better than market prices. So if we've done some market research, we kind of got to have a pretty good sense that if a consumer was given the proposition of if price is equal, would you rather buy from the grid or buy from a solar farm? And the answer is coming back quite strongly that, geez, the idea of being connected to a solar farm is pretty cool. And that connection is made by virtue of the market being able to measure every half hour. And so we believe that once we launch the idea, and there will certainly be competitors that copycat this idea, but once we launch this idea, we think there'll be very strong demand, probably more demand than we can build into.
Pulse has more than 80,000 customers, so what's the potential there?
Well, that's a very good question. We're confident that they could make that exact proposition to their existing customer base and get a pretty good take up. They have a lot of customers that don't really have the wherewithal to put solar on their own roofs. They're either apartment dwellers or people that might be renting a property. This allows apartment dwellers, renters, any kind of consumer to be connected to a solar farm. And so we think they've got a great opportunity with their existing customer base, and of course a great opportunity to add to it for this exact reason.
As a business for yourself, what have you had to do to scale up as well as build the infrastructure? Have you had to employ more people?
Yeah, I mean, certainly we, the first phase of a development like this, because we've engineered 5 farms and, get all the purchase orders for the equipment for this massive undertaking, it does require some pretty talented people with lots of experience. And so I've built out a team internally to handle that initial workload. We've signed in the order of 70 contracts or legal documents to put this all together, and so you can imagine the effort that takes. And so once we get rolling construction wise, then we'll continue to add people that are required to manage and facilitate the construction process. So
when do you hope to have all 5 farms up and running?
we're mapping them out to be essentially sequential. So as the crews leave one site, they'll move over to the next, and when you put all that together, we kind of get through 5 farms over a little over 2 years. So we're expecting to be, the volume from those 5 farms would be enough to supply the retail electricity market for the city of Hamilton. And so we sort of see that as the dimensions of the challenge, is to get around 50,000 customers over a 2-year period, and then go from there.
Do you need to look elsewhere, sign other partnerships with other electricity companies to get scale?
We probably do. We have a lot of interest in the commercial market. We think the solar is ideal for a commercial operation. You sort of, the sun comes up and the sun goes down at about the same hours that a storefront would open. And so we think once we sort of satisfy the demand for residential consumers, we'll be very quickly moving towards figuring out how to supply solar to every petrol station or every bank or every dairy, because those operating hours tend to be very similar to a solar production.
Have you had conversations with fuel companies or banks?
We've started conversations with a couple of very big commercial customers that have multiple sites. We're not specifically negotiating with banks or petrol companies, but we think they would be the kind that would be interested in doing it, particularly with electric charging coming and other things. But yeah, we are close to. I can't tell you about it now because it's still commercially sensitive, but we are close to announcing a pretty big deal with a large commercial customer.
Okay, so signing on customers second quarter next year, is it just going to ramp up with growth from then, do you think?
Yeah, we think this is there's 2 million connected customers in the country, and 2 million people are going to be given the choice to switch from grid power to a solar-based product. And one solar farm is about 10,000. So there's a lot of possibility here that we just keep building and building. And of course the idea is you take market share away from the grid, then that means you're facilitating the shift to a renewable energy market. And because the first generators to drop off will be the ones that burn a fossil fuel and cost more. So this is kind of how the market does its job in delivering 100% renewable market, and we're going to relentlessly pursue that.